How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William. We're talking about the measles. That's right, the measles. I thought they were gone, but no, they're back. They said they got rid of the measles, and then the measles seem to have a new life. Kind of like a cat, 9 lives. They're here again. But how? How are they here again? Who's doing it? Is it just happening? Is it because of the wet market again, or a bat in a cave, or some bat poop somewhere and someone got infected? Measles is a mysterious problem. Apparently, though, it's surfacing again and again and again. And remember, the measles, that's a virus. A virus. Interesting. And how do we protect ourselves? Like, really protect ourselves? We got a lot to talk about. Strap yourself in, fasten your seatbelts, because we're going on a measles train. Nurse, the doctor will see me now? Thank you. Hey, doctor. Hi, yeah, I don't want to waste your time. I'm sure you have lots of sick people coming in, but you see these marks? See them right here on my arm? Is this the measles? I just need to know. See these little dots right here? Yeah, those. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're not sure? Okay. Are they itchy? I think they were itchy. And I think they were itchy. I'm itching them now. Don't scratch them? Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Why are you putting on a mask? So I do have measles? I don't have measles? You're just doing that as a precaution? Okay, oh God. You're making me kind of nervous. Yeah, I know. I'm getting itchier. Wait a minute here. You think I have the chicken pox? Maybe that's what I have. I'm sure you heard about it. The measles are going around again. It's kind of shocking, actually, and should be taken seriously. The measles is especially dangerous to children. But as shocking as it is, it's actually not that shocking, for the sole reason that somebody put it out there. That's right, somebody put the measles back out there. How else did it get out there again? How did it magically appear? Did it start in some undeveloped country, find its way to the United States? People start getting the measles again? Children start getting sick again? Did it just fall out of the sky? Did it come from the atmosphere? Did it come from an asteroid? Did it come from a falling star? How did it get here again? Did it come from a bat in a bat cave? And that's where it started? Did it start in the wet market? Was it a fish and a bat? How did it get here? Was it an eel? Was it a bird? It got here because it was put out there again. It was put here again. It's a virus that's raised in labs, raised on eggs. Yes, on eggs. That's how it's done. They crack an egg open, they place viruses in the egg, they proliferate them, they grow them, they take them out of the egg, they study them, put them back in the egg, start the process all over again. It was raised in labs. Just like COVID, just like the manufactured COVID virus, so are the measles. Just like the flu virus, the flu would be gone forever. It would not be on the planet anymore. It would have just disappeared, been eradicated. But they raised the flu in labs, crack the egg open, place the flu virus in the eggs, proliferate them, grow them, take them out, stick the flu virus in mice. They watch the mice get sick. They watch the mice die or just get really ill. Take the virus, put it back into eggs again, proliferate it, remove them out of the eggs, stick them in mice again, watch the mice react, watch them get their fevers, watch their eyeballs turn bloody, and they do it all over again and again, just like they do with the COVID virus, the flu virus, the measles, and every other virus. The Epstein-Barr, the HHV6, HHV7, cytomegalovirus, the shingles, herpes simplex 1, simplex 2, and so many other undiscovered herpes varieties. They are in charge of the viruses. Who's they? Classified Medical Research and Science. They're private labs funded by evildoers. The bird flu? Prime example. Prime example of evil doing. Yes, by evildoers. The bird flu is killing flocks and flocks of birds everywhere. Wild birds, geese, ducks falling out of the sky. The bird flu was put out by Classified Medical Research and Science, was manufactured, was engineered. It's out there now. The flu that's going around right now, same thing. COVID going around right now, same thing. Measles going around right now, same thing. They control all the viruses in the privately funded labs, and then they get released. They somehow magically escape the labs and then get into the environment, and people get the bugs. Why do they bother doing this? They're practicing biological warfare. Biological pathogenic warfare. They're in the process of practicing it because you never know. They might want to use it someday to destroy half the population on the planet. They might want to create such a deadly virus or viruses, different magnitudes, different kinds, so that people literally get sick and die. And that's the real goal. This isn't public medical research and science. This isn't your doctor down the road. This isn't doctors down the street at conventions. These are privately funded scientists and doctors that work for darkness. And that's where all these bugs come from. And that's why people get sick. A whole host of viruses out there let out of the gate at any given time. Years and years and years ago, before countries had direct access to countries, travelers were far and few, and indigenous cultures weren't exposed. Original viral outbreaks were docile. They came and went until a traveler brought a bug across the ocean. Then a civilization that was never in contact with that other civilization got infected and had to run through the cycle. By the 18th, 19th, and 20th century, everybody had communication with everybody. Bugs were shared around the world. Period. That's right, period. That means everybody interacted. Any bugs now are being put out purposely. The measles are not a dormant bug. You're not walking around with the measles sitting there dormant inside your liver like a herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2, like the herpetic family. It's not an Epstein-Barr virus. It's not sitting there waiting to come out, peek its ugly head and cause problems, and then create an outbreak. The only way on planet Earth, as of today, right now, an outbreak can happen is if something sinister is going on. Something is happening. There is some evil, evil force out there behind an organization that's putting the measles out. It's the only way the measles can be out there now and be out there now. Same thing with the flu. We only have the flu going around over and over again, flu after flu, different strains constantly, because they're being let out the gate. Stealth herpetic viruses are different. They're stealth. We transmit them, or we contract them, or we spread them personally. Yeah, personally. We have it on our hands. We went to the bathroom. We have herpes on our hands. We go into the grocery store, we grab the shopping cart, we put that herpes right on the handle of the shopping cart. Somebody else comes along, grabs the shopping cart handle, doesn't think about anything, doesn't think about much, pushing their cart around. They got an itch by their eye or their eyelid. They itch their eyelid. They just contracted herpes simplex 2, 1. They just contracted an Epstein-Barr stealth viruses. That's just one of hundreds and hundreds of ways of actually contracting any of the herpes viruses, stealth viruses. By the way, that classified medical research and science put out long ago. Now they're just mutating, spreading, growing in numbers in different ways, but they're out there all the time for anybody to catch from other people. They spread and the cycle goes on and on and on. That's mononucleosis. That's Epstein-Barr. Somebody can catch mono from somebody else that has mono. They can get it fresh. Somebody can catch Epstein-Barr from somebody who has Epstein-Barr. Not even that mononucleosis infectious stage, but they can catch it, contract it. It happens every day, all day long, all around the world. But when it comes down to measles, just like the flu, just like the bird flu, just like COVID, it's just a group of viruses that are in labs that they keep on growing and then letting out the gate when someone tells them to let them out the gate. Yes, that's right. When someone tells them. That's how it works. By now, you know that planet Earth isn't just all happy, all goodness, all loving. It's evil. Because there's evil people on this planet. Oh, and I forgot, the norovirus. That's a fun one. Some people throw up and vomit until they die. Yes, it happens periodically. There's some people that are just very sick in general, that just don't feel good on a daily basis. They get the norovirus and they end up throwing up and something goes wrong. It happens to a lot of people out there. The hospitals are filled up right now of people who have the norovirus. One thing that you'll find that's remarkable is evildoers usually choose certain times in history to let out bugs. Like they're letting out the bird flu now, or they're letting out the measles, or when they let out COVID. They choose a time period in our history to decide to pull the trigger. It's interesting, something that should be noted someday. The way classified medical research and science works is kind of like a pet store. Walk into the pet store, you see the birds they have there. They got parakeets in one cage, got doves in another cage, parrots in another cage. Or you go down to the cats and dogs section. They got this little puppy, they got that little puppy. They got a black lab, they got a golden retriever, they got cocker spaniels. And then you go down to the fish department. They got goldfish, they got minnows of certain kinds. And this is a little window on how it works with classified medical research and science. You can walk down the aisle there, and they have Ebola here. They got HIV here, the retrovirus. They got the Epstein-Barrs and the shingles here, because they always keep track of them. They always keep them on hand. You never know. They might make a deadlier one as time goes on. And then they got the different flu viruses. They got the bird flu. They got the norovirus, the COVID virus. They got the measles. And they got other ones too. But that's how it works. And then they got different varieties of all of these. And they're in the process of being tested, put into animals, then put back into eggs, then back into animals, then back in their cage again. Yes, their cage again. They put the viruses back into a safety mechanism. It's basically the cage. Take them out of the cage, they play with them. Put them back in the egg, take them out of the egg, back into the animal, out of the animal. They watch, monitor the animal, and it goes on around and around and around it goes. And where it lands, nobody's supposed to know. And anytime something gets out, their fall guy is always bats. Always picking on bats, or the wet market, or something of that sort. And it's kind of believable when you think about it. Just like Lyme disease with ticks. People still believe that Lyme disease is because of a tick, even to this day right now. There's probably people in the medical medium community that didn't even read the Lyme chapter in the medical medium first book. But yes, Lyme disease did not come from a tick. The bacteria they say causes Lyme disease is not from a tick. But yet, just like the wet market, just like something else, like a bat or a tick, it's believable. And that's the goal. That's how it should be for them. They need people to believe that this came from some little critter. And the funny thing is, Lyme disease isn't even from bacteria. It's from viruses. Viruses they put out there in the last 100 years, the Epstein-Barr virus and so forth. So when I hear about a measles outbreak, I go, okay. Why would they put it out now? Why would they release it now? What are they up to? What's the game? What's the goal? Whatever it is, it can't be good. When the first medical medium book came out, there was a massive awakening. Millions of copies of the book went around the planet, and people with chronic illness learned that pathogens, viruses, were responsible for their illnesses, for their mystery chronic illness, for the first time. Because all it was before that was eating good or processed foods. All the Eat Better books were out. All the Look Out for Processed Foods books were out. But no answers for people who had 50 symptoms, 60 symptoms, 100 symptoms. People who were a mattress island, people who were suffering. And when the chronically ill learned about viruses and why they were sick, it was an unbelievable healing around the planet. Finally, some answers. Because the health movement did not have any appreciation about viruses, understandings about viruses and what they did. So learning how to conquer viruses, kill them off, beat the viruses down, strengthen the immune system, is legendary information, legendary protocols that are now out there in history, out there in people's hands every day. How to battle pathogens. And what are the measles? What is it? It's a virus. It's a pathogen. And the way to battle that pathogen is battling it as if it's a virus. Exactly. Using weapons against viruses. Now, the measles is much different than the Epstein-Barr virus. Measles are much different than shingles, much different than chickenpox. They're different than herpes simplex 1, simplex 2. Measles should be seen similar to like COVID or the flu or the bird flu or the norovirus. It should be considered in that way, in that manner, because it's aggressive. It's not stealth. It's aggressive. It's fast-acting, fast-causing, similar to a flu, a bad flu. A really bad flu that they let out the gate and get 104, 105 temperature. Children can get really sick and even die because of the flu. Children can get a really high fever, similar to measles, similar to norovirus, similar to COVID, and the different varieties they keep on letting out the gate. That's the kind of virus it is. The measles is a fast-acting, aggressive virus just like the flu, the bird flu, just like COVID, and it should be seen that way. And alternative treatment should be antiviral. When someone catches measles and they have a weakened immune system already, or severe nutritional deficiencies, and they catch measles, like a child in a country without resources, without healthy foods, without nutritious foods, medicinal foods, weakened immune system for one reason or another, catches the measles, anything can help. Anything can help. In years past, one of the problems with the measles, just like the flu, is resources. A child laying in bed with 104 temperature, not taking in any fluids, no hospital care nearby for an IV, for any kind of hydration. No cold or cool towels or cold packs for the forehead, the face, the cheeks, or the chest. No medicinals of any kind, no herbs, just a child laying in bed with the measles, fighting for their life, relying on solely their own immune system, while they're battling a fever vacillating from 103 to sometimes 105, becomes really dangerous. And in the past, the death rate was really high for measles just because of this reason alone. In the 1800s and early 1900s, when the measles epidemic hit children, they had children in infirmaries, not getting the care they would get today or right now. They would just be on some cot along with 100 other children, laying there with a musty old blanket over them, no fluids, no IVs, just in some infirmary somewhere. No ice makers, so no cloth with ice in it, putting it fresh right on the face, on the forehead, on the chest to try to bring down fevers. No fresh coconut water to just give to the child to sip gently. It's really just the child's immune system, and that's it. They're in it for that moment. They're fighting for their lives. And if they come out of that fever and they're strong enough to survive, they become the children that survived measles back then. And the same thing happened with the flu back then as well. It was a matter of, do you survive the fever as a child? You don't really get the resources you need that are here today. You lay in an infirmary somewhere. You have a nurse looking after you. But other than that, it's you or the flu, one or the other. You live or you die. So when it comes down to measles or the flu or COVID, anything helps. Hydration helps. A little bit of water helps. Coconut water can help immensely. Vitamins of any kind, nutrients of any kind, before you come down with the measles, during the measles, and after the measles. Every little bit counts. Every little bit helps. Vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin B, all these things help and contribute to survival and recovery, especially to someone who's nutrient deficient, severe deficiencies. Maybe somebody in a country somewhere lacking resources, they came into this world with a weak immune system. A child doesn't get fed good, doesn't get fed a wide variety of fruits, different vegetables, different herbs, and the immune system and nutrients aren't where it's supposed to be. Maybe they go hungry a lot. Maybe they're surviving on porridges. No real antioxidants, no phytochemical compounds, no antiviral compounds, just plain old dead food. And yeah, then anything helps. Anything. Vitamin A, B, C, D, K, and any kind of nutrient. It will all help for somebody that's actually so severely deficient in some country somewhere with no resources, no real good food, nothing really good going in them, lacking so many things that matter that our immune system needs. Then sure, if you do a scientific study, you take a child somewhere, you give them a little bit of vitamin A, you might see improvement. Vitamin D, you might see improvement. K, you might see improvement. C, you'll see improvement. You'll see something happening. And then you mark it down in your science book, in the lab, and say, interesting. This was really beneficial for this child. We gave this child who just had a measles infection a multivitamin, and this child was severely immunocompromised and nutrient deficient and has lived its life on wheat porridge, is doing quite well with this multivitamin after the measles infection. Yep, you'll see an improvement. But something to think about, a lot of vitamins aren't antiviral. They're not there to stop the virus, shut it down, kill the virus, fight for the person. Those vitamins aren't there to really support the immune system to arm itself against the virus, to kill the virus, to clean it up. So even though any vitamin, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, can be beneficial, it doesn't stop the virus or build the immune system back up so the immune system can fight the virus or restore the nervous system. Vitamin D doesn't feed the killer cells. Vitamin C can feed the killer cells. There's a big difference right there. So what do we do for the measles? What is the best approach? The best approach is as if it's a flu, a bad one. The best approach as if it's COVID, a really bad one. The norovirus, the stomach flu, a really bad one. That's the way to approach it. Antivirals for an aggressive virus and proper hydration and proper fuel, depending on where the fever is too. If the fever's really high, you starve the fever, but you make sure you're getting hydration, electrolytes, other nutrients, other resources. The measles viruses that are out there now are different than the measles virus many decades ago, a century ago, 2 centuries ago, 3, 4, 5 centuries ago. The measles virus today is engineered, manufactured, it's in the lab. It's got some bare bones from the ancient virus, but it's been reconstructed, redesigned. It's not the same bug. It's more aggressive, more vicious in many other ways. The original measles virus did not come from here, planet Earth. It came from outer space. It came from aliens, extraterrestrials. They're the ones that dropped off the measles virus. The measles virus, thousands of years ago, was not here. It wasn't something that just created itself in a wet market somewhere. It doesn't work that way. It has to be dropped off. It has to be put here, and then the infection starts. And that infection was delivered. It was dropped off by an alien spacecraft. That's how some viruses get here. They don't start in a wet market, and our human bodies don't create them. The measles is one of those viruses that was dropped off by aliens a long, long time ago. So what's our best defense? What's our best weapons? Antivirals. That's a big one all on its own. Measles should be treated like COVID. It should be treated like the worst flu because it's a virus that has the same goal, the same direction. It has the same directive. It wants to do damage. It's quick acting, fast acting. It's aggressive, just like the flu. And the person's immune system needs to be buffered so a cytokine storm doesn't happen, just like the worst COVID or the worst flu. The immune system needs to be supported, fortified. It needs to be fed because your immune system needs to destroy the measles virus. And antiviral tools need to be brought in. Antiviral tools that can destroy viruses without the immune system's help. So if somebody has a really weak immune system and it's not going to do the job it needs to do, there are antiviral tools that help do the job for the immune system. You need a little bit of both. And a person can take really early steps of preventative care when they get the measles because they're not going to know they have the measles yet. They're going to think they have something. That's how COVID works. That's how the flu works. That's how the measles work. You start coming down with it and you don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's allergies. It's the first thing everybody says before they get the flu, COVID. Maybe it's something else, a sore throat. Maybe it feels like you're under the weather and you have a cold. But that's how the measles starts. It starts the same way a flu or COVID or a norovirus or any kind of thing like that. It starts just like that. Sensations, sore throat, stuffy nose, some chills, some body aches. And then you got the measles. It comes out later. It gets figured out it's the measles, but preventative care could happen at the start. Medical Medium Information was the first to put antivirals out for COVID. Nobody knew what to do for COVID. They were looking for conventional drugs as the first line of defense and treatment. Info talked about zinc and golden seal and other herbs and other nutrients and vitamin C. Millions around the world saw the information, and then the poachers came and started adopting the zinc therapy. Now the same goes for the measles. Antivirals are needed. You're dealing with a virus, and you have to kill the virus, support the immune system, and use tools that not only feed the immune system, but go after the virus as well. Conventional medicine would love everybody to believe that it's only up to their immune system and their immune system alone, and it has nothing to do with anything alternative, any kind of herbs, vitamins, nutrients. Conventional medicine wants people to believe they are left alone on a ghost ship somewhere, and the measles dominates and rules all, and they have no power over it whatsoever. And that's the conventional model when it comes down to measles. It's ingrained for over a century to be like this. And alternative medicine just follows along all these years. In fact, alternative medicine years ago, not too long ago, did not even believe viruses existed or viruses were real on any level. Alternative medicine this last 10, 20, 30 years just believed it was always toxins, nothing else but just toxins. And pathogens weren't even real. It wasn't until Medical Medium Book 1 did alternative medicine start realizing viruses were real. And then COVID, the whole COVID virus, it awakened a lot of different people in the health world where viruses are real. But we're still in a place where the measles is off limits. It's taboo. So alternative medicine doesn't even realize yet that it should be battled with antivirals because it's just like COVID and the flu. So let's get into it. In Medical Medium Brain Saver Protocols, Cleanses and Recipes, there's a section, Supplements for cold, flu, and COVID in adults. There's also children's dosages as well. Take this information and this book to your doctor, to your pediatrician. Ask your doctor and pediatrician if this is right for you. It reads, before applying these, be sure to read Chapter 2, Golden Rules of Supplements. Starts out with fresh celery juice. Work up to at least 16 ounces daily. Then it goes into the pathogen exposure shot. Then the shock therapies. zinc, vitamin C, lemon balm, golden seal, thyme tea, propolis, aloe vera, B12, and then cat's claw, elderberry syrup, eyebright, ginger, golden seal, lemon balm, lomatium root, mullein leaf, olive leaf, oregano oil, OSHA, propolis, thyme, B12, vitamin C, zinc. But once again, before applying these, be sure to read Chapter 2, Golden Rules of Supplements, and take this information and this chapter to your doctor and ask them what's right for you and your family. When dealing with any kind of flu, COVID, or the measles, a fever can be one of the biggest problems, especially when it's a high fever. Cool packs on the face, on the chest, on the forehead, a cloth with cold water on it, hydration, coconut water, lemon water, and cucumber juice. And remember, always starve a fever. Don't eat a heavy meal when you have a fever. Eat light. This information is here. These are tools to help with fevers and help with viruses. If you or a loved one has a fever, get to your doctor, ask him what's right for you. Many blessings. God loves you. God bless you. The ship came down from high above the sky. The door opened with no sound. A creature, a humanoid, came out with a gift for the crowd. It tasted sweet, so hungry. It was the off-season. One by one they fell. A fever struck. Their blood boiled. It felt like hell. And this was early in time. No church bells rang and chimed. It ran through the blood of ones on the continent that was higher above. As the years went on and the ships sailed, the virus got out of control and spread to no prevail. It's so different now that the world has been exposed to the alien virus, but in our modern times, some sick, evil people with jobs governed by the puppet masters has kept the virus alive in special glasses just so they can release the virus back into the masses. Satan, no doubt, lives on and has a home in their castles afar, directing the evildoers to strive hard and spread disease so it deeply scars. Biological warfare mixed in with spiritual warfare is their last hand in their sick, deranged deck of cards. They play in labs directed by people with demons that have gone mad, creating nothing but sad. But the light still holds power. God's light holds more. And when the time is right, the clock strikes the hour. The ones that go against the angels and God's light pay the greatest price.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.